Good afternoon. Rather close up and intimate, and perhaps quite uncomfortable for me setting today. Uh, my washing machine's on in the office kitchen, so I'm in the bedroom, stroke, living room. They're not very strictly delineated, these rooms. Also, I've not looked back at them. You might not be surprised to learn that I don't look at or edit the videos I make. But I usually prop up my tablet on my laptop screen, and if it's on, the laptop fan may have proved to be deafening. So we'll see. I don't know whether the last few videos I've not really been checking or not been aware of that. So anyway, we're through here because the laptop's on and because I couldn't be bothered. It's too noisy through there. So you'd be surprised at just how precariously the tablet is balanced on the arm of a chair where I'm sitting. I'm actually looking right now at the TV where the corner where all my game stuff is, in fact. So a more appropriate setting, but I won't show you that just now. If ever. Yeah, at some point I'm sure. So, in terms of purchases, Resident Evil, cheap. I already had this, and I was playing it. I had bought it back in 20... I mean, I had it years ago. But I had bought it again 2018, I think, in November 2018 in Huddersfield, where I had gone with a friend. I think I've talked about this before. It was maybe the first thing of, ooh, CEX, retro games. And it was CEX. Even then, I didn't play it until just a few weeks ago, and I've been really enjoying it, but it crashed a few times in cutscenes, and I got to a point where it was consistently crashing on a cutscene. So, and when I looked at the disc, it's pretty messed up. So I was kind of surprised. The stuff you get from CEX normally in good condition that way. And I didn't have the receipt, even though it would have been covered by the 2-year warranty. I just didn't have the receipt, so that was a shame. So, but thankfully, it was not expensive to replace. I've still got the old one, so I don't know whether I could do it. Try and nice and clear. Oh, there you go. There you can see my. You see my games corner? Where do I need to put it? What am I looking at right now? This is fun. That is. Oh, that's my rug. No, I'm looking in the wrong direction. My poster. There's the TV. There's the Dreamcast. Sega Mega Drive. The PlayStation, the Wii, the N64, the Super Nintendo, and the move my leg, NES. Anyway, so the disc is shiny and reflective, without many scratches. Too many scratches. Let's see. Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, I bought this again to play it. So it's not really a newly acquired as such. But it'll work and it'll play. Don't know what I'll do with the other one. But I thought it was, as much as anything, an excuse to talk about something that I found I've had for years and years and years and years and years and years, and it is something of no value, but possible faint interest. An old cheat book from, or like tips guide thing, freely given away with Planet PlayStation magazine. So yeah, this was maybe a Halloween thing because Ooh, RRP, $4.99 it says, and yet I doubt this was ever sold. This came free with a magazine. So yeah. Greetings. So basically, yeah, it's a cheat strategy guide type thing for a bunch of horror games on the PlayStation. We have Soul Reaver, Silent Hill, Resident Evil 1 and 2, Medieval, and Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen. Um, which I is that a is it a PlayStation game? Kind of doesn't look like it. It's not as well known to me as Soul Reaver. It's hard to see because of my bloody light and stuff. So it's all black and white. So it should read A Nightmare on Cheat Street. Silly. What does it say? Complete solutions for the PlayStation's scariest games. So Planet PlayStation was a PlayStation magazine. I had this at the time that I had a PlayStation. I do remember having. I kind of remember having video games magazines occasionally for systems I didn't have, and in fact, maybe this was one of them. I don't know. I kind of just I think there was a while, or there was occasions when I would be reading a games magazine just for fun, like just even though I didn't have the console because I didn't have a play. Oh goodness, it's fallen over. Now how am I going to balance this again to maintain my obscurity? So important. This is very silly. Right, I'm going to not rock the boat. I'm going to quickly get through this because this is a really bloody stupid way of filming. Right. Yeah, so I don't quite remember whether I had a PlayStation when I had this, but I can't remember. I think that I seem to remember there were times when I had magazines for consoles I didn't have. I got the PlayStation quite late. That's what I was talking about. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get this over and done with before this falls over again. Welcome, Fright fans. Greetings, Space Cadets, and happy Halloween. Yes, it's the witching season, so we thought it'd be the ideal excuse to break into Dr. Tip's surgery late at night and make off with all the walkthroughs and guides we could find for the scariest games ever on the PlayStation. So if you're trapped in Silent Hill, stranded in Raccoon City, or just getting the life sucked out of you in Nosgoth with Cain and his unholy brood, then this is the book for you. Close the curtains, turn off the light, and spark up some mood candles. You're ready to enter... ... A Nightmare on Cheat Street. So yeah, it's all in black and white. There's quite a lot of images for considering it is in black and white. It's pretty hard to see. Oh, they do have the Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. What am I talking about? Yeah, sorry, Soul Reaver, Silent Hill. Yeah, which I have. I don't know how much I like it. It's a bit repetitive and a bit. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of Ico. Obviously, Ico's later, but the action is not a lot of fun, really. I'm not going to say it's not challenging or deep enough because I found it a bit annoying to play. But so in that respect, it probably wasn't so easy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had difficulty with it. But it wasn't fun. It was just kind of annoying. I found, but I might return to it. But then I don't know. Yeah, I feel like ought to give it a better shot. Maybe I need the strategy guide. I do remember getting sort of a bit stuck, or maybe not. I can't remember. I really can't remember. Silent Hill. I played a bit of Silent Hill on Yep, emulator again. Resident Evil Jill's story only. So this is kind of interesting. Resident Evil 2, Claire. I think they also have Leon's story. I've not played Resident Evil 2. But this is the thing, I mean, the funny thing about this is it reminds me of none of these were games that I played at this age. But I remember the images from these games, looking through the magazine, and they weren't scary as such. They were alarming, and they really stuck in my head, and they're probably some of the more lasting images. These, just in general, like images from PlayStation games I never actually had. Oh yeah, this is the back cover there. What does it say? It's pretty silly. Happy Halloween, readers, and happy birthday to us, but you get the presents. That's right, and you don't need to do anything in return, although we could use some skin cream. This was really standard, this kind of humor in these magazines. Pretty standard sort of crap British humor is the way I think of it. This was like standard in all the like unofficial magazines, I feel. I read Nintendo official magazine for a while. Can't remember if I had official PlayStation magazine. And they were a little bit probably higher budget and stuff like that, but they had a little bit less of this kind of this. I mean, in these magazines they kind of took the mick quite a bit. But anyway, as I was saying, these images, the imagery, the non-game imagery, from PlayStation games in particular, PlayStation games that I'd never played, has really stuck in my head and kind of typifies the PlayStation era for me. I'm trying to get examples of others that seem recognizable. That short shorts kind of zombie is definitely one I remembered. I think also there was a picture of, because that's not supposed to be a character. A character who's turned into a zombie. I think that's maybe just a zombie, like an ordinary NPC, not NPC, an enemy in the game. But I remember there was a picture. I seem to remember there being a picture of, maybe it's Jill or Claire. One of the female characters in Resident Evil turned into a zombie. That was in one of these magazines. I saw it. I don't know whether that actually happens in any of the games. I mean, I don't remember it happening in Resident Evil 1, which I've completed. I might be thinking of Claire. It might be in Resident Evil 2, branching paths that the person you do not play as gets killed or something, turns into a zombie. I don't know, but there was an image like that really stuck in my head as being quite. I don't know if it scared me when I was younger, but it certainly stuck in my head. And I think a lot of those images I'm talking about came from these strategy guides, actually, because I remember there was a Final Fantasy VII complete strategy guide, and it was only about, this thick as well, really thin. So it must have been pretty succinct, not very thorough. And the images from that of all the Final Fantasy VII characters, Cloud with the big sword behind his back, and Aerith and Tifa and stuff, these really stuck in my head. They were kind of iconic images to me, and I think the PlayStation, yeah, to an extent, Soul Reaver and stuff as well. He was on a lot of front covers around that time. Yeah, the PlayStation seemed to rely a lot on these pre-rendered images accompanying the games in the way that Nintendo games kind of never have really. Um, I mean, not without exception, of course, but you even think of like Super Mario Bros. It's got a picture of pixelated Mario on the front. Not true with all of them, of course, but Nintendo seemed to sort of go forward with the what the game looks like a lot more. And no pre-rendered cutscenes and stuff like that. That's quite common. Um, anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. It's something I'm gonna keep because why throw it away? It's not taking up any space. I've got kind of an oddities drawer now, full of broken shit and this sort of thing. So whatever. Planet PlayStation. There'll be people who remember this fondly. Um, I'm one of them, I suppose, but I don't remember it in massive amounts of detail. There's a couple in the last bit there. The front covers, all in glorious black and white. But yeah, Soul Reaver on one of them there. Is that Resident Evil? Yeah, you can see the same zombies from the back cover of this guide, or one that comes out. The Spyro, Speed Freaks, which I remember. I remember playing that in a. It wasn't really an arcade cabinet. It was a PlayStation stuck in a machine. At, so like PlayStation in an arcade cabinet sort of thing. A place called. It wasn't like Little Marco's. It was a different one. This is like Edinburgh children's history. A kind of like play area type place. Speed Freaks was on that. I think so was the Hercules game, very strangely. I don't even know if you had to pay for them. I think not. Yeah, and there's Tomb Raider 4. I remember that. Yeah, Tomb Raider there as well. Anyway, that'll do.